We've got some really exciting things coming up, and I want to share with you in this episode all the things that are coming up and something that you can do today if you're interested, and it's free, and I'll share more about it in just a minute. This is the Homesteading for Beginners podcast, and I'm Mona Weathers, your homesteading mentor and coach. I'm here to encourage you to pursue your homesteading goals with the right mindset in a way that is healthy for you, your family, and your community. If you desire to establish a solid foundation for your homesteading journey, then you are in the right place. Join me as I share stories from the past 20 years of my own journey, as well as practical and actionable steps you can take to start and maintain a healthy homestead. So much has been going on with so many things on my farm and on this podcast, and just a lot of exciting things happening, and I hope you can join me in the excitement. The first one I'll share with you is that I interviewed Melissa K. Norris for the podcast on Friday, this past Friday, and she will be on the podcast on June 1st. It's probably going to be a 2-part series like I do with the larger interviews, so I'll split it in half. So it'll probably be part 1 will be on the 1st, and part 2 will be on the 8th. Now, that could change. But anyway, that's coming up. So I'm really excited about it. She's a very awesome person, very kind, and it was a really great interview. We talked about preservation methods. So if you're interested in the different types of food preservation methods, then you'll want to hear this episode. And this is kind of the continuation on the small-scale homesteading series that I have unofficially titled certain episodes the small-scale homesteading. What I think I'm going to do with that is, once I'm done with all of the small-scale homesteading episodes, I'll put it into like a PDF or something, or an email where you can, if those are the episodes you're interested in, I'll have them all listed there. And then we will be moving on to large-scale homesteading. Probably won't get to those until later June or maybe July, but I have some really great episodes coming up there with some awesome people that I will be speaking to about that. So that is the number one first exciting thing that happened this past week. And if you're not familiar with Melissa K. Norris, she is a podcaster, an author, a YouTuber. She does just about everything, and she's just big in the, she's also a speaker. So if you've been to the homesteading, the Homesteaders of America conferences, or a lot of those conferences, she's been a speaker, so you'll know who she is there. But if you just do a search on YouTube, you'll know who she is, or listen to her podcast, which is Pioneering Today. If you're new to homesteading, then you may not have heard of her, but it's somebody you'll want to follow because she has a lot of great information, and she really is desiring to see people healthy and well and homesteading well. So she's a good person to follow. Another exciting thing is that this podcast is almost at 30,000 downloads we are at this is episode 41, and we're almost to 30,000 downloads, which is a pretty big deal in the podcasting space. I know there's a lot of bigger podcasts and things like that, but I've worked really hard to get the word out about this podcast. So it appears that it's working with the downloads that are coming in. And I definitely would appreciate more shares if you have them. If you want to share the podcast, if you want to leave a review, that always helps, just to let people know that this is a good podcast to listen to. So you can use your favorite podcast player and leave a review and leave a 5-star rating. That's also nice too. So please do that. The rating parts and the reviews, I think I'm not necessarily sure if they matter in the podcasting algorithm, but they do matter with people seeing whether they want to listen to the podcast and follow the podcast. So it really does help. And I think by next week, so by episode 44, it should be past 30,000 with the way things are going. So that was really exciting for me to, it's really hard work, this podcast. I do everything, by the way. I do all of it. I don't have anybody helping me. I do the recording, I do the editing, I do the marketing, I do it all. So it's a lot of hard work, but it's good to see that it's actually getting out there, and the people that need to hear this message are getting to hear it. So in order for that to happen even more, your participation really is valuable and appreciated. So I'm going to move on to my next exciting thing, and it is I have a group. Okay, let me back up here. I have been wanting to start a group for the homesteading community, like a free group for the homesteading community, for a while, and I've been struggling to know where to do it, what it should be on. I could have started one, like a Homesteading for Beginners group on Facebook or something. There actually happens to be one or more of those. But I struggled because I really didn't want to just have this generalized group. Homesteading has so many things attached to it. It has growing food, it has raising animals, it has, learning different skills that help you, like welding and sewing and all those things. And I didn't want to have this. It's just very hard to stay focused with helping the group grow and be focused when there's so many different ways, so many different directions it can go. And so I decided, after watching how people are reacting to all of the content that I'm creating on homestead income, I'm telling you, on TikTok, I have this one reel that just keeps getting shared, and it has to do with, it's titled "Don't Be a Broke Homesteader" is what it's titled, and I'm not even sure if people can see the cover, but they seem to really enjoy this reel, or are really intrigued by it, or it's hitting home to them that they need to create multiple income streams, and that's the message that I want to keep sending. I definitely am staying on this path with helping new homesteaders get started. But I also decided that, that portion of my service is not very, there's a lot I can get into that. I can help people, coaching them and deciding what they want to do, but getting started really isn't hard. It's maintaining and not going broke, and not getting overwhelmed with so much that you took on, and you could have maybe not taken on so much and had a much better experience. It's those types of things that where I can help people navigate. But there was that one topic that kept coming back to me, which was the homestead income topic. And that is one way I can further help new homesteaders and longtime homesteaders as well, but especially new homesteaders, because I want to try to prevent some of these things that happen with people when they get started, because you're not always saving money, and sometimes you're very easily wasting money, and you really need to have a homestead income plan. So the exciting thing I'm sharing is that I've created a Facebook group, a free Facebook group called the Homestead Income Plan Group. And I'm so excited to get this information to you, because it's just started. There's only at this point, there's only 17 members in there. But I will be using my own knowledge of three income streams, which is, if you haven't heard them yet, it's on homestead, off homestead, and online income. And my own knowledge of creating income streams that in those areas. But also I'm going to bring in other people who are skilled in other areas. So we will be doing live streams within the group, and it'll be like interview style live streams where you can ask questions and all that sort of thing. But I'll be having different topics. I'm actually, if you have topics that you want to learn more about on income on the homestead or because of the homestead, please let me know. Send me an email at mona@healthyhomesteading.com and let me know what topics you want, or just join the group, and then you can post them in there. But I am, trying to help people in this way. And so I'll have if there's a topic like you want to sell eggs, like this, that's a big one. Most people think that is a really good way to generate income. It's not really, but there are ways to do it better. There are different types of eggs that sell better, that are more, you get more money for the amount of eggs you sell. So there's things like that. We can have people come in and talk about that. I have a list of people already that I'm going to be approaching and asking if they'd like to help out with this project. So that is one of the big things I wanted to share, because I feel like I can really help people in this way. I've been the broke homesteader, and I want to help prevent other people from getting to that point and actually my vision is I'd like to see it to where, people tend to glamorize homesteading and all of the things. And what I don't think people realize when they glamorize this lifestyle is that the money doesn't just appear. You have to work really hard for it, and you have to be really careful about how you're spending your money. And what I would love to see is that when people envision homesteaders, they're not envisioning them just looking like they're doing very well with all of the food and stuff, but that they actually, it's a lifestyle to be like, oh, you are a homesteader, you must be doing really well financially as well. I would like to hear people saying that, because it's not the case right now. We don't imagine homesteaders as being people who are financially doing well. And I know a lot of people choose not to go down, like I know a lot of people are choosing to not worry about the financial side of it. But, having money doesn't mean that you have to be a horrible person. You can do really good things with money, and you can have, vacations, and you can improve your quality of life. It's not the money that is the money is not the evil. It's what people do with the money that can be the evil. So let's turn it around and make homesteading this way of living that not only you can see people doing so well with their health and caring for the land, but they're also financially comfortable. I've used that word before. I love that word because, for one thing, it means something different. That phrase, I guess that's a phrase, not a word, but it means something different for people, like financially comfortable. I don't know what that means to you. It might mean that you get to go on vacations every other week, but it could mean whatever for different people. So, but financially comfortable just means that you're not struggling, that you're able to do the things that you want to do, that you're able to help people when you want to help people with their financial struggles, or you can serve your community or whatever. That's what financial comfort means for a lot of people. So that is my vision, and my help, the way I'm showing up for my community, for the homesteading community, is by helping people generate an income, and not just generate an income that's going to lose money, but an income that will, be sustainable and not where you're working yourself to death so that you make $5. I really want to see people do much better with the way they're entering the homesteading life. And I think the help of other people in the community, being able to tell you, okay, avoid this mistake, avoid that mistake, I think that will really cause more people to do well faster. Okay, the last thing I'm going to share is about the workshop for beginner homesteaders and dreamers. I did that live a couple of weeks ago, and it went really well. The live went really well, and I now have it available to you to purchase as a replay. So you will get the Homesteading for Beginners workbook, the updated version, to go along with that workshop, and that workshop will guide you through parts of the workbook. And I'm basically covering the 7 pitfalls to avoid, the 7 homesteading pitfalls to avoid, and how to approach your homesteading journey in a way that where you'll be, successful, and that you have some of these thoughts of, having an income plan, having a savings plan, having a community, and that sort of thing. So if you're interested in that, the link will be in the show notes, but you can also go to healthyhomesteading.com/workshop. Okay, so I think that's all that I'm going to share today. I do appreciate you listening. I really do. And your reviews and your messages on Instagram. I love it when I hear from you, because podcasting is kind of a quiet space. So you don't really get to hear what your listeners think until they reach out to you. So I appreciate all the things that you are doing by listening. I appreciate you being here. And all the links that I mentioned will be in the show notes. So the Facebook group will be in the show notes. I'll link Melissa's podcast as well, so you can go listen to that, and the workshop information. So I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will be back here on Thursday with another episode.